Welcome and thank you very much for being here with me. As you know, in this class, you are going to learn about Allen Ginsberg poem America, and it is a non-detailed text. And remember, Allen Ginsberg is relatively a new poet to most of us because it's not prescribed in at least Calicut University MA syllabus. I have divided the class into three parts. In the first part, we'll discuss about Allen Ginsberg, then about the poem introduction, and what are the important points. Then the MCQs will certainly help you to score. So, Allen Ginsberg, we start with him. What's the first thing? Remember, Allen Ginsberg is a most important figure in the post Second World War American literature, and he's iconic. He's the founder of Beat Generation, whom what you may call, as you know, always challenged the mainstream culture, and he's an icon of American counterculture, and he strongly stood against militarism, economic materialism, sexual repression, not in his country, across. Okay, especially he had a deep connection with India. He was a Buddhist. He converted to that, and he was part of Krishna conscience. And even the when Bangladesh won independence, East Pakistan, and the refugee crisis, he has written about it. So he's a kind of a humanitarian, a real angry young man of America. In other words, in 1956, his work, The Howl, established him as a poet. And his most important work is September on Jessore Road. It's a poem. It's written, as I told you, based on the 1971 Bangladesh genocide. And his style is known as Ginsbergian. So he's an outstanding figure. And let's go into a poem introduction. What are the four things we need to know about America? And remember, this is not a patriotic poem. Actually, a lot of patriotic poem has come in the same name, America. It is a political poem written in 1956, strongly criticizing America's Cold War policies on Russia, not on Russia, across the world. Okay, and it appeared in 1956 in the collection Howl and Other Poems, and it's presented as a stream of consciousness method. I request you to read the poem. It's very easy to read. It takes only 5 or 6 minutes, and you can understand what he's trying to say. It's a dialogue. It's a conversation with America, his own country. What are you doing? And he directly addresses the policies of America, its injustices, illegal racial laws, health system, and war activities. We come to the main points in this. And remember, the poet is expressing a sense of despair about the financial situation of his country and its involvement in war. And he is indicating a deep dissatisfaction. He says that I gave you everything, and right now I have got little money. Actually, you are not focusing on the people who live in this country. You are focusing on the external things. And as I told you, it's in the form of a monologue, and he's highly a non-conformist. And that is part of Beat Generation, as you know. And he pleads America for originality. Okay, when you will be real, that is what he's asking. And he says that the current state of American politics is totally inactive. It is doing nothing for the people. And if you look at the structure and style of the poem, it is known as a free verse. They may ask you, it is common with the Beat Generation. And if you look at the historical context of the poem, it's very important. As I told you, written in 56, Cold War, and he critique the what you may call the social, political, and cultural climate, the fear of Russia. Look, the word McCarthyism, actually fear of communism. Okay, actually, as you know, Americans were really feared of communist, and the theme is alienation and what you may call non-conformity. Actually, I written conformity. It's non-conformity. Actually, he contrasts his own beliefs and lifestyle with the mainstream capitalist America. He speaks of sexuality, drug use, anti-establishment. His highlight to rejection of social norms, communism, and there is a strong irony and sarcasm in this poem. And he's speaking of deep disillusionment in American dream. Okay, and there are a lot of personal autobiographical reference. He himself was in a mental institution for some time, and about his mother, his personal fears, anxieties, and it gives him a deeply personal touch. And at the end, he ends with a positive note. I am putting my queer shoulder to the wheel, indicating his willingness to work towards change. And before we wind up, I just want to run through the poem and some of the names, otherwise, it will be difficult for you. Actually, there are some names mentioned here. Yes, he says America free Tom Mooney. Tom Mooney was a person who was illegally put in jail for 22 years with false. Same way, Sacco and Vanzetti. They were also what you may call political activists. They were put, and Scottsboro boys. There were 9 Africans, teenage who were accused of raping two white women, which never happened. So they all speak of the illegal system. And so those three names you have to say if they ask you. Yeah, and then there are some personalization like Time Magazine and Reader's Digest if they ask you for. And now I request you just to read the poem so that you will get a better understanding. So thank you very much for being in this class. I'll see you in next class. Take care. Bye bye.